Welcome everyone to our first ever The Secure Channel Cybersecurity Partner Roundtable. We're really excited to have you join us today. My name is Sarah Morris from Claro, and I'll be moderating today's session. This roundtable is really designed to be an interactive space where we can dive deep into our cybersecurity solutions, discuss what makes them stand out, and then explore how you, our channel partners, can best position them in the market. So leading today's discussion, we have Scott Hinkle, our Cybersecurity Product Director. Scott's going to walk us through our key cybersecurity solutions, highlight our key differentiators, and then provide some insights into how you can successfully sell them. So after Scott's presentation, we're going to open the floor for a live Q&A. If you have a question, feel free to use the raise hand feature in the Zoom toolbar, and I will unmute you so that you can ask it directly. If you'd prefer, you can also submit questions via the Q&A or the chat features, and I will relay those questions to Scott during that time. But please feel free to engage. This is meant to be a conversation, and we really want to hear from you. And we also have Eduardo on the call as well. I'm sure many of you are familiar with him. So he's here to keep me and Scott in line today. So, but that being said, let's get started. So Scott, over to you.
Thanks, Sarah. Like Sarah said, I'm Scott Hinkle, based in Denver, Colorado. Quick background: I've been in cybersecurity in product management for I think 12 years now. The new year. I've been in telecom for almost 18 now, and before that was the defense contracting. So I like to say I started in kinetic security, and now I'm in more polished cybersecurity. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about 3 different solutions. Claro offers a fully managed security awareness training solution, a vulnerability management solution, and an MDR Plus. We're going to go into what makes that different. And then we're going to end on a Q&A. So I'm going to try and burn through these slides as quickly as possible, because I feel like the spirit of this discussion is more for like a roundtable, so more discussion. So I want to hear your voices. So with that, let's get going. Our first solution we're going to talk about is managed security awareness training. It is a mandatory thing in my mind. Every company should be doing it. Claro does it. We actually eat our own dog food, so the solution we sell is the solution we use. What makes us different? The biggest thing, honestly, is that very top line. It's a fully managed solution. With Fortinet and Proofpoint, those are just 2 of the many different offerings that you guys have access to. The biggest differentiator is they were all reselling licenses, whereas we're selling a managed solution. So we're going to set up the security awareness training for you. We're going to conduct the phishing surveys. We're going to do reporting monthly and with ad hoc as an option. We're going to provide you with a customized, customer-based solution. So the best way I like to discuss it is you have Scott and you've got Sarah, and Scott is getting phishing emails, and I click on everything. I need a completely different training than Sarah does, because Sarah doesn't click on anything. She knows to hover her cursor over emails. She knows to look at the email address to make sure it's a legitimate domain. Scott's a dumbass. He just clicks on everything. So my training is going to be vastly different than Sarah's. Sarah's is going to be much less. Mine is going to be more intensive. That's the biggest differentiator between us and the other solutions. The other thing that's different for us, we have the ability to rip out known bad emails. So if Scott gets a bad email, he clicks on it because he's a dumbass. We realize, oh my goodness, an email slipped past all of our filters. We have AI filters that we apply in addition to Office 365 and Outlook. So Outlook has its own filters. We apply a secondary set of filters. Even if one gets by that, it gets in my inbox, Scott clicks on it. Oh my gosh, that's a bad email. That's sending Scott to a server in an offshore server. That's a bad thing. We're going to be able to detect that. We're going to be able to isolate that email. We're going to be able to take that email out of Scott's inbox, and we're going to rip it out of everybody else in Claro's inbox. That's the biggest difference between us and the rest. So let's go to the next one. This is pretty much what I just discussed. Why do we win? We fully manage it. That's the thing. I am a recovering admin of security awareness training admin, and so I know firsthand with real world experience how much that can be very powerful in the right hands. It was my part-time job, but it's our full-time job. We're going to be able to manage that for you and your customers. 24/7. If you have any questions, if your customers are saying, hey, listen, I was supposed to get this email, it didn't come in. Did you guys maybe catch it? And maybe we blocked it because we had some suspicions about it. We're going to be able to go ahead and release those for you. At the same time, we're going to be able to send customized training and like I said before, tailored support based off of the individual, based off of the company. The company's going to be able to decide how intense they want this training to be, or how casual they want this to be. We're going to be able to customize that for you. And then obviously automated threat removal. That was one of the big things. Sorry, my bad, Sarah. Sarah keeps me honest, and then Ed, who keeps both of us honest. The second solution I want to talk about is vulnerability management. And you're going to see a theme with me. The things that makes us different is it's fully managed. We're not a scan and scoot shop like some of the others. I'm not going to call anybody out. I don't talk trash. I've been in this industry long enough to know you don't talk trash about your competitors. You just talk about what we're good at. What we're good at is we're really, really good at vulnerability management and remediation. That's the biggest differentiator with us. I talk with our security team every day, and I am continuously amazed, and I learn something new literally every time I talk to these folks. They are amazing. Our team is incredible. They're going to be able to do these scans for you. They're going to help you prioritize it, and they're going to help you remediate. And I'll give you two examples. So I was on the other end of this. I was the vulnerability management guy for two different companies in 2021. My first company, I was doing contract work for Angie's List, now Angie. And this was during the wonderful Log4j days. If anybody remembers Log4j, I apologize for bringing you back to that PTSD. With Angie, they were concerned about two things: PII, so obviously credit card information, that was big. And then the second thing was to be able to offer bids for partners, for like contractors that they call them pros. Folks that you would go into Angie and you would say, hey, I need to do a bathroom remodel. I need 3 bids. That was the second most important thing for them. Fast forward to when I was working for Subaru Americas, they were only concerned with obviously PII, yes, credit card information, but they were more concerned about processing PCI claims in their automotive shop. So oil changes, that was the biggest thing for them. So two separate companies, both in the same somewhat industry, 2 different priorities. We're going to be able to align with those priorities. We're going to be able to differentiate between those 2 companies and be able to say, well, I'm talking with Angie, so I know their environment. I know what's important to them. Oh, I'm talking to Subaru of Americas. I know what's important to them. That's our difference. Is our ability to customize the vulnerability management to the individual, to the company, and work with you. We're going to understand your environment. We're going to be able to prioritize with you. We're going to give you some professional advice as well. We have experts. They are experts. These guys are incredible. So we're going to be able to partner with you guys and bring that industry best practices. So that's the biggest thing with us, with vulnerability management. Why we win? We fix things. We don't just scan and say, hey, here's your problems, go fix them. We're going to say, hey, here's some problems. Talk to me about what's important to you. Okay, let's go ahead and fix those things. And we're going to scan repeatedly. So we have options for 1 scan a month, 2 scans a month, or 4 scans a month. And we're going to be able to show you the progress. We're going to be able to say, hey, we started with these vulnerabilities. We were able to remediate these vulnerabilities, and here's where you're at today. So we're going to be able to walk you through that whole process. And again, we're going to prioritize the risks based off of your environment, your customer's environment, not our environment. And yeah, we can absolutely help you with compliance, PCI, HIPAA, NIST. We're going to be able to give you the information for your customers to be able to comply and comply with those compliance requirements. All right, our next solution is MDR Plus. This one's truly kick butt. So we have an MDR solution, and we've combined that with Zero Trust. So we've taken industry best, top. I hate to use the terms, but top tier or industry best practice MDR solution, And so we have 24/7 incident response. We have 24/7 threat hunting. We have 24/7 remediation. Our company, forks up $1 million on their own just to say, hey, we haven't been compromised in the 18 years we've been in the industry, but if we are, we're forking over $1 million of our own money to be able, this is our partner's money to be able to say, if you do get compromised, we're going to go ahead and fix it. We're going to pay for it. That's how confident we are in our solution. And we're going to take an extra step that the other folks don't do. We're going to take that threat vector, we're going to shrink it down. So the best part about Zero Trust Endpoint is we now are going to control those applications that are running. Now, I'll give you a good example. So for me, I'm not that smart. I need to write everything down. I use a tool and an application to help keep my notes together for every meeting I do. And right now it doesn't ever communicate with the internet. It's an app that I downloaded. It's what I use. I use it on my phone, use my work laptop. If that application started to communicate with anything outside of my own personal use, like it starts communicating with a C2 over in offshore, or it starts to send emails to Sarah and Edu, that's a bad thing. That's not normal. And all of a sudden, with our Zero Trust Endpoint solution and MDR solution, it's going to contain that, and it's going to make sure that application doesn't run. And so, say my admin says, Scott, I don't trust you to run that application. Go ahead and use Notepad instead. They can block it, and we have that control. The cool thing about our solution is it's going to normalize. It takes about 2 weeks, but it's going to figure out per individual what's a normal interaction. Like, what's a normal day for Scott? What's a normal day for Edu? What's a normal day for Sarah? And we're going to be able to say, for Sarah, she's going to be doing vastly different things than Scott does, because Scott's going to be nerding out on tech docs, and Sarah's going to be providing more information and more intelligent information for marketing and for sales, and Edu's going to be doing the same thing. Edu's going to be talking to customers. He's going to be out in the field. He's going to be doing different things than she is, and she's going to be doing different things than I am. Our solution is going to be able to tailor that normal that baseline per individual. That's the cool thing about our solution. It's easy to install. The best part about it, one of the best parts about it is easy. It's absolutely easy to install. We can push it out for you. We can set it up for you. You can have your users download it. It's all good. However you guys do business, we're going to be able to comply for it. And like I said, it's industry best. We are partnering truly with like two of the best providers in the world, and we've combined their solutions together, and we're happy and truly excited about this particular solution. So I kind of talked about a bunch of this stuff, but like we said, we don't just detect, we fix. And that's our thing. Is the secret sauce for Claro is our people. We have folks that are in the office 24/7, 365. They're going to be looking at your endpoints. They're going to be controlling your applications. Going to make sure that things are running the right way. And when they don't, we'll step in and fix it. That's the best part about this solution. We're going to talk about some other things, but those are the things that I want you guys to remember when it comes to Claro MDR Plus. All right, now we get into the fun stuff. Scott gets nerd. All right, here's what we actually deliver when it comes to security awareness training. The top things that I want you guys to remember is the phishing simulation and the user training and awareness. Those top two things are the most labor intensive. Like I said, I'm a recovering security awareness training admin for a previous company. Those things took up like 16 hours a month. And I was fairly automated at the time. This was a couple of years ago, and we've gotten better. So we can take that workload off of your customer's plate. If they're doing security awareness training with anybody else right now, and they have to manage it themselves, those are perfect customers for us to be able to come in and help them out. We partnered with KnowBe4, which is literally the industry best. I've used them for 6 years now. I've been an admin and I've been a user. So I've got good experience with KnowBe4. They are literally one of the best in the industry. Those are the two things, is we're going to be able to take that and take it off your plate. Two things that I want you to remember. First of all, we manage phishing simulations, so we're going to be able to customize those. We're going to be able to manage your user training and awareness. And if you have any customers that use Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace, that's a great intro. So a good question, a leading question would be, hey, what do you use for your environment? Do you use Microsoft 365? Do you use Google Workspace? Okay, who's managing your security awareness training? In the weird cases that they don't have it, this is a great way to introduce it. If they do have somebody that's managing their security awareness training, ask them how it's going. Do they love it? And that's great. If not, we're a great offer. Like, that's a great way to introduce us, is if they are managing it themselves and they're spending more than 10 hours a month on security awareness training, Claro is going to come in and help you out. We're going to take that work off your plate. We're going to let you focus on what makes your business work, makes your business run, and we're going to do it really, really well. So that's the best thing. So we offer Platinum and Diamond for KnowBe4. The reason why we do that is because of the extensive training that's offered. With Platinum, we've got, I think, 2 different levels of training. So when I talk about that, that means you have access to, and we have access to, be able to give your customers probably, I think it's like 260 different training modules. And training modules are videos, they're email templates, they're courses for you to take. With Diamond, that's another third. We actually go from 260 to almost 2,000 different training options, email templates, phishing exercises, response training courses. I mean, there's a whole level of introduction that we can do. The other thing we offer up is we offer up 2 different add-ons in addition to that. We've got the Compliance Plus add-on in addition. That's going to help your customers that have HIPAA, PCI, NIST requirements, where they have to reply back to a survey or to a compliance inquiry. We're going to be able to provide information and data that is relevant to those different organizations and those institutions. The other thing we offer is PhishER. That's the rip and replace one. That one's where that email comes in, it slips past Office 365, it slips past our phishing email filters, and it gets in. They happen. It just, anybody who tells you they've got the silver bullet in cybersecurity, they're not telling the truth. So I'm going to tell you the truth. They get by. And I can go on forever about how AI is helping bad guys generate bad emails. Like, that's an industry today. When they get in, we're going to be able to see them. We're going to be able to see there's malicious activity. We're going to see there's a .exe file attached to a spreadsheet that came in from Edu's grandmother. And that's a real world thing. I actually got an email from my grandmother with a .exe Excel file. Happens. So I reported it. That day I wasn't a dumbass. I was Sarah for a day. I was smart and didn't click on it. But it came in. We're going to be able to see it. We're going to be able to grab it. We're going to be able to rip it out of your customer's environment, and we're going to be able to do that in an automated fashion. This is all automation. Like, our AI is finely tuned when it comes to our phishing defense and managed security awareness training.
Right, so we actually have a question come in related to this. I wanted to jump in and ask it. Is this a la carte, or is this a whole package?
Okay, so it's a package for Platinum and Diamond. Like, that's not a la carte. It is a la carte for Compliance Plus and PhishER. So a customer could say, hey, I just need the basic security awareness training. Great, awesome, that's Platinum. So we're going to get you enrolled in Platinum. If you have a customer that says, hey, you know what, I need the basic security awareness training, but I kind of like that PhishER thing. I kind of like that email rip. Okay, great, let's add it on. Or if they want, hey, I've got a PCI customer. I'm supporting Subaru of Americas. Like, that was my customer. They had compliance requirements, so let's add Compliance Plus on in addition to Platinum. Or if you wanted the additional training, let's get you into Diamond. Like, that's a great solution. Diamond's the most popular within KnowBe4. But we can do Diamond, and we can add PhishER, we can add Compliance Plus, either way. So our current customer base, we have at least 2 customers that are on Compliance Plus, and actually Claro's a third. And then we have an incoming PhishER customer who they are both Platinum. Well, all 4 of them are Platinum customers of ours, but then they have different add-ons. So yeah, those are add-ons.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott.
Cool. Good questions. All right, so for MDR Plus, I kind of talked a little bit about what makes us different. The coolest thing about us, honestly, is those 6 security operations centers that are across the globe. We call it follow the sun, threat response, 24/7 threat monitoring and response. We have folks that are using threat intelligence feeds. I think we have 6 different threat intelligence feeds. Only 2 of them are OSINT. The other 4 are all paid. Those are all paid for. Like, that's part of the subscription. Like our MRR, it includes all of those things. So you don't have to pay for a threat intelligence feed. You don't have to pay for your SIM. You don't have to pay for any of that stuff. We're going to take care of that for you. We get telemetry from third-party endpoints, firewalls, email, and other security technologies. We give that to you in under one screen. The thing that makes us different, honestly, is application allow listing and ring fencing. Then there's differences between the two. Application allow listing, that's when you set up an environment, you're going to be able to say, hey, I want these applications to run on Scott's laptop, and I want these applications plus a few more to run on Sarah's laptop. That's allow listing. Ring fencing is when an application that Scott might have downloaded that might actually have been compromised to no fault of his own. His application was starting to reach out to C2 nodes that are known bad. We're going to be able to block that immediately without having to do anything. So no user intervention, no human intervention. It's purely AI driven. Whenever an application starts to act in a way that's not normal, we're going to be able to block that, and we're going to be able to control that. Those are the things that are good for us. And the way that I say, I like to say, like Scott pairs well with really good bourbon. MDR Plus pairs really well with cloud backup and AI and video analytics. And I'll tell you why. For cloud backup, the old saying in security, cybersecurity, and this has been for like a last decade, is if you care enough to protect it, you should care enough to back it up. And if you care enough to back it up, you should care enough to protect it. So if you have a customer that has a cloud backup solution, we should be talking to them about MDR Plus yesterday. The other use case that I want to talk to is with AI and video analytics. It's a great introduction if you ask, hey, are you combining a bunch of different cameras from different organizations, maybe from merger or acquisition? Hey, let's talk. What's your security portfolio look like? What's your security profile look like? Oh, a lot of times they say, oh God, I don't have one. Great, awesome. Well, if we can put agents and endpoints and cover all of your endpoints and servers, we can bring all those things together. We don't have to combine your network. I've been a part of multiple mergers and acquisitions, and I will tell you, the 2 hardest things to be able to integrate are security and networking. So I worked at Level 3 Communications, if anybody remembers them. We got acquired by CenturyLink, and before that, we bought a company called Global Crossings. So at the same time, as I was a network security guy, I had a green network that was the CenturyLink network. I had a red network that was the Level 3 network, and I had a blue network, and that was Global Crossings. And each one of them had a different product. So I can tell you, it's tough. We can go ahead and skip all of that problem, and we can deploy these things within a few weeks and bring all these different disparate customers together under one profile. So that's the best thing about our security, MDR Plus.
Scott, I have a quick question coming from our team with regards to patching, right? Patch management.
Yes.
How do we handle that, and how do we convey that to our potential customers?
So patch management, we handle that pretty individually. And actually, I just had this conversation yesterday about patch management. We are going to only patch the things that you want us to do. We will not. You can give us a list of things to not touch, and we won't touch them. But if you give us admin control, we're going to be able to do testing, which is big. If you've ever been in patch management, the toughest thing to do is to do QA testing prior to pushing out to production. We're going to do that testing for you. But you give us the list of things that you want us to patch, and we'll go ahead and take those over, and we'll manage those for you. We're not going to overstep our bounds. We're not going to get ahead of our skis. We're going to be able to say, if you just want us to patch, a couple of servers that are out there, you want us to patch your entire environment, we'll do that. But you give us that direction, and we'll go ahead and manage that for you.
Excellent. And it's my understanding too that is extremely necessary when it comes to organizations. They need to be HIPAA compliant and CPI compliant, right?
Yeah, it's super important, and it literally is like almost 16 to 20 hours a month doing patch management. So Microsoft does Patch Tuesday. Every Tuesday they're patching vulnerabilities. So if Microsoft is doing that, Google's doing that, Meta's doing that, you should be doing it too. But the problem is, like, it's time. Like, how much time do you have? The other problem is like, when are you going to do it? Most of the time we want to do that off hours. Like, I know for me, I want to be done by 5. Like, I want to be off like cooking dinner. Like, that's my big thing at night. I want to cook dinner at 5 o'clock. I don't want to be doing like testing, validation, and patching at 5 o'clock at night. But that's the only time you're going to want to do that. We'll do that for you. Like we have, like I said, we've got 24/7 folks that are working in our offices across the globe, and they're going to be able to do patch management for you at a time that makes sense for you. All right, we were just talking about vulnerability management. Hey, what a great segue. Edu, you're like a pro. What are we going to do? What is Claro going to do? That's the big thing. Like, why us? So we're going to do that vulnerability prioritization. Like I was talking about it earlier, we've got a team that's going to be able to prioritize. Like I was talking to you guys earlier about, like the Angie's list. We're gonna make sure that we know that in Angie, we know that their priorities are PII and communication and bids to the pros. We're going to know it's Subaru of Americas, it's PII, and it's going to be prioritizing PCI transactions within the maintenance shop. So we're going to know that. We're going to have that sort of visibility into your customer base, and we're going to be able to prioritize and customize that to your customer. We're not like I said, we're not a scan and scoop. We're not just going to scan, give you the results, and say, hey, peace out, we're out. We're going to be able to get in there with you. We're going to partner with you. And we're going to give you, our, best practices. We've got, like I said, we have seasoned engineers that have been doing this for a long, long time, and they're going to be able to help you out. So if you've got an IT director and she's struggling with it or he's struggling with it, we're going to be able to help that individual. We're going to help that organization. And we're going to be able to document it for you. We're going to be able to show you, here's where we started from, and here's where we're at. Like I said, we're going to be able to scan once, twice, or 4 times a month. We're going to be able to give you those reports. We're going to be able to talk through those reports. We're going to give you those hours to be able to work with you on this. Best thing to do this with it is if you have a user who is moving from on-prem Office 365 to the cloud, let's make sure you prioritize vulnerability management. Like, make sure that you say, hey, we've got some pros that are going to come in. They're going to examine your on-prem environment. We're going to root out some of those rules that might have made sense 17 years ago, and we're going to make sure that you go into the cloud at the proper version of Office 365. So you're not going in with like Windows 2000 version of on-prem Office 365. I kid you not. It actually gets worse than that. There's somebody from Southwest Airlines was able to avoid Log4j because they were running an operating system that was last updated in 1996. That's how they got around it, because they were running such an old operating system. But yeah, go Southwest. But we're going to be able to do that for you. So if you've got somebody who's moving from on-prem to the cloud, we need to have a conversation with them for vulnerability management.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you so much, Scott, for all that information. We are now going to open up the floor for full Q&A discussion. So if you have a question and you would like to ask it live, feel free to use the raise hand feature and I'll unmute you so that you can ask your question to Scott. If you would like to submit via the chat or Q&A, you can do that as well, and I will ask those questions on your behalf. Okay, let's see. Okay, we've got a question about vulnerability management. What makes Claro's vulnerability management better than Rapid7 or CrowdStrike, for example?
That's a great question. So, like I said, I don't talk trash in this industry. It's a very small community. So you just don't do it. I'll tell you what makes us better is our people. So we're not just going to scan and give you those results. We're actually going to be able to work with you. We're going to be able to partner with your customers to prioritize and remediate. And the other solutions they're all really good solutions. I've got friends in both companies, and they do a great job for prioritizing. But I think our solution's a bit better only because we also leverage AI to kind of scan for vulnerabilities and prioritize threats. So like I said before, like back in the day in 2021, Log4j was everywhere. It was literally infecting or opening up at least 70% of everyone's Java script to compromise. So that was a big priority back in the day. So we're going to know that, and you're going to understand your customer's environment, and we're going to be able to remediate according to your priority set, your customer's priority set, because we're already partnering with you. We're already doing your vulnerability management. So we're going to know your environment. So we're not going to have to like fly in and remediate. We're going to be there with you. So, applying us early is a good policy. And we're going to be able to customize the scanning. If you have a customer that has a big environment and they've got a lot of problems and they want to do 4 scans a month, we can totally do that. If you got somebody who needs to do it, but they just need the help, they know how to do scanning and they know how to do prioritization, and maybe they even have their own team that is going to partner with us to do remediation, 1 scan a month. Awesome. Great. We can do that. We're very flexible.
Okay, perfect. And kind of a follow-up to that, does Claro integrate with my customer's current security stack?
Yeah, we are agnostic. Like, we can scan anything. Like, we're not beholden to any one particular vendor. So if you have Fortinet firewalls, if you have Palo Alto firewalls, if you have Datto network switches and APs, we're going to scan all of them. If it has an IP address, we can scan it, and we can provide those patch management recommendations and do that vulnerability remediation for you based off of whatever you've got in your stack.
Perfect. Okay, going back to the managed security awareness training, how often do the phishing simulations run?
We can do that based off of whatever customer environment is required. So I was doing weekly when I was managing the security awareness training for my previous employer. But again, that is going to be based off the individual. I will tell you that out of the 226 employees that I was managing the security awareness training for, I had about 22 that I had to do weekly. The rest I could kind of back off. Like, I used that example before. Like, if Scott's a dumbass and clicks on everything, my training is going to be a lot more intensive. I'm going to be getting phishing simulations weekly, and they're going to be customized. They're going to have social engineering. They're going to be like, I'll give you a great example. So I'm going to send Scott a text message from my CEO, Andres, and say, Scott, I need you to go and buy a gift card for me because I have a meeting. And so, just for everyone to know, I live in Denver. Andres lives in South Florida. So for him to send me a text message asking me to go get a gift card would be really strange. But if I got it and I actually went and did it, then I need additional training. Ed, who's smart, he is like, no. Andres is not going to ask me to send him a gift card. He's not going to ask me to go out, but get a gift card and send it to him. So he's going to go ahead and report that. That's going to go off to our phishing filter. And Ed, his score is going to be like a 99. Scott's score is going to be a 26. So a 99 gets a whole lot less phishing simulation emails than the 26%. Like, I'm going to get a ton of them, and I'm going to get courses, and I'm going to be required to go through training. So it's really customized by the environment, and it's customized by the individual.
That's awesome. Okay. We've got a question here. How small of a client can we accommodate?
We try to stay at 25 is the smallest one for all of our products, for all of our solutions. We try to standardize on 25. We can go down smaller, but we're going to use that as an individual case basis. But let's start at 25. We can go up to several thousand. My personal experience is if you get above 2,000 licenses, it's probably a good idea for us to have a conversation to make sure that we're doing the right thing by you and your customer. But we can go from 25 to 2,000, easy.
Perfect. Okay. Let's see. I know that we discussed a lot about our vulnerability management solution and how that supports compliance requirements. Can you speak a little bit to what is included? Particularly, I believe we have audit-ready reports that are aligned with some of these that get created through the solution.
Yeah. So we can make audit-ready recommendations based off of the different audits that you want to comply to. So most of the time, folks don't do more than one, but there are like you would let's see. So like pharmacies, a pharmacy might need both PCI and HIPAA. So we can customize the results and prioritize the vulnerabilities based off of PCI. And so here are your vulnerability prioritization, and here's your vulnerability prioritization if we wanted to look at it from HIPAA. And we can combine those two and be able to say, so between PCI and HIPAA combined, Walgreens, here are the things that you need to fix first. And here are the priorities for you. And this is our recommendation. Do you have feedback? And if they want to change them, they can. And that's the difference between us and others is we're going to be able to say between, so Walgreens, here's your PCI vulnerabilities, and here's how we prioritize them. And here's your HIPAA vulnerabilities, here how they prioritize them. As we combine them together, here's our recommendation. Oh, you don't agree with that? Okay, great. Let's tailor this to your environment. That's different. That's different. That's that personalization that Claro offers that others don't.
Great. Great. Okay, we have a question about MDR Plus. MDR Plus replace my customer's SIM?
No.
I hope I'm saying that correctly.
You are, yeah, SIM, yeah, because I butchered that when I first started a long time ago. So great job. No, SIMs are they are aggregators of alerts and threats. So our MDR Plus will actually point alerts towards your SIM. So your SIM is going to be able to see, hey, Claro is showing me that I've got this endpoint that's doing some really bad things it shouldn't be. It downloaded a file with a .exe, and it's starting to send out adjacent emails to be able to say, hey, click on my link. Click my link. It's like going back to my example of my grandmother sent me that Excel file with a .exe on it. Before I ever click on that, I'm sorry, not our FishyR, but MDR Plus is going to see that file and be like, "Yo, that shouldn't be doing that." We're going to make sure that doesn't get anywhere and at all. It's not going to reach out to anybody. And then if you are our MDR Plus with our phishing defense solution, we're going to be able to rip that email out of the box. So it's a symbiotic relationship between our MDR Plus and our phishing defense. But our MDR Plus, no, it's going to send logs to your SIM and be able to say, this is what Claro is doing for you. This is what we did. Here's how we remediated for you. Here's when we did it. So you have those logs to be able to take those logs and use those logs as you need, as you see fit. So no, it's an augmentation to your SIM. So we're not replacing anybody's SIM. We integrate perfectly into any SIM. So it can be your MongoDB. It can be who else? FortiSIM, Palo. I forget what the Palo Alto, they rebranded what their SIM is, but we can integrate to all of them and send logs to any one of them.
Perfect. All right. Another question about MDR Plus as it relates to how fast we can respond to incidents. I know this is a question and a selling point that a lot of customers are going to ask. So can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, so industry standard is about it be able to remediate within 2 hours. That's the industry standard. We remediate in 45 minutes, and we alert within 2 minutes. So our SLAs are, we alert that, hey, there's an issue within 2 minutes, and we're able to remediate it in 45. And like I said, the industry standard is 2 hours. So we're a full cool hour and 15 minutes faster than the industry standard. So yeah, 45 minutes. And that's something important to ask customers, because this becomes kind of like a how tall are you type of argument, or I've got this niche little company out in New York that can do it in 2 seconds. Really? No, you could probably most likely you could probably alert and maybe block within 2 seconds, but you're not going to remediate. There's a difference between blocking and remediating. If you're blocking it, all you're doing is saying, hey, .exe file, you can't reach out to that C2 node over in offshore. Remediate is be able to say, hey, I've noticed that this .exe file is trying to reach out to overseas. I'm going to block it. I'm going to take that file signature, I'm going to memorize it, and I'm going to propagate it across the network to say, anytime this .exe file comes in, it's blocked. That's remediation. And I'm going to go ahead and delete that thing and make sure it gets ripped out of your inbox. That's remediation. Just alerting and blocking, that's very, very easy. that's a step one, step two, very binary. But the remediation actually is going to go look into the file. It's going to look at its hash. It's going to look at its serial. It's going to look at its context, and it's going to be able to take that and update the policies and make policy adjustments. That's remediation. we can do that within 45 minutes. So we've got folks that are, sitting in SOCs across the globe. They're going to be able to do that for you, as opposed to having, Scott having to log in on a dreary Sunday morning in Colorado to update, Claro's security profiles based off of a file that, he downloaded, unfortunately, on Friday night because he wasn't paying attention. We're doing that for you. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Like, we take care of all that for you.
That's awesome. Okay, I have one more question here that I'm going to direct to Edu. We're getting some questions about pricing, so I wanted to let you speak to that. And then if you have any other questions or remarks, if anyone else has any other questions, please ask them. We've got a few more minutes here while Edu's going through this. But we also want to respect your time. We know everyone's very busy, so if there aren't any more questions, we will wrap up here shortly.
Absolutely. In terms of pricing, we'd love to sit down with each one of you guys and schedule a call so we can analyze the specific solution that you need and the particular pain point that we need to resolve. We do have our promos for our cybersecurity suites in our channel portal that we will share as a follow-up to this email, as a follow-up to this particular roundtable, and email to each one of you so you can gain access to the channel portal and have them at your radar. But I think the best way to tackle it and present it to you, to each one of you partners, it's to sit down with us and have a quick conversation so we can make sure to share all those pricings available and the promos that we have right now. Would you like me to follow up on the closing remarks, Sarah, or we have any other last minute questions?
No more questions. If anyone does have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to us, respond to our follow-up email that we'll be sending out, and we'll make sure to answer those questions as well.
Okay, understood. And as I was mentioning, we will follow up with an FAQ document that will compile these questions and the highlights for this particular presentation that Scott shared with us. And from there, what we could do for sure is to follow up with any potential demos that you would like. If you need a much more deep dive for each one of the solutions, I'll gladly be able to schedule that with Scott and each one of our channel managers in your territory, so that way we can prepare you for promoting the solutions among your potential clients. Also, as we all know, channel partners in Las Vegas is approaching. The whole entire channel Claro team will be there, so please don't hesitate to let me know and send us an email in order for us to schedule any meetings where we can discuss this in person. I think that there's great potential for us to promote these solutions among your clientele and be able to win together as the channel allows us and the ecosystem rewards us all. And also another item that I wanted to share is to make sure that follow us in social media. We do post a lot of great material that you can reuse and be able to repost and maybe share with your potential clients. This information allows us to convey the exact message. And as we have mentioned, our leader, our channel leader, Jose Joven, and the rest of our channel managers, we're here to support you with the presentations and demos. You're not out there by yourself presenting the solutions. We'll be more than happy to join in any particular calls or provide you with the actual demo. That way we can convey the message directly to your potential partners. And that's all from my end.
Awesome.
And I got two last things. Sorry, Sarah, just I don't think I mentioned it, but all of our solutions that I talked about today, they're all monthly reoccurring. There are no NRCs. And I want to give some kudos to our finance team for figuring out how to do that, because that's something new. That's something different. All of our solutions are monthly reoccurring charges. There are no NRCs with us. So we try to become extremely channel friendly. So we want to make sure that that's pointed out. And I forgot what my second thing was, so that's okay. I'll just go ahead and skip it. But yeah, I want to make sure we talked about that. All of our solutions are MRCs.
Well, you remember that last item you wanted to mention. One of our great channel managers, Ashton, just put in the chat here our link to any particular meetings within the Channel Partners Vegas event. So feel free to use that link as well to schedule any meetings with us. More than happy to see you in person and discuss this further.
I remember what I was going to say.
There you go. So, back to Scott.
Yeah. Well, talk to your channel managers or your Claro channel managers, and I'm also happy to come in and help them and support them on customer calls. So yeah, just reach out to your channel manager, and I'll happily make my schedule as you're open for you guys. So yeah, I'm here for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Scott. This was a lot of great information. And thank you, Edu, as well, for being here with us today to, again, keep us in line. So we will be sending out materials, as Edu mentioned, following the session. We'll send a recording of this for your reference, as well as compiling a doc with all of the questions that were asked so that you can have that for reference as well. So again, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your days to spend a few minutes with us. And please reach out if you need anything. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.